Word on the street. FisMaz show. What's the word on the street? Like who got the beats that be killing the game? Who's up on the scale? Who playing who? What's the score on the sheet? Fiso the prince got him taking the seat. Got the legends giving us the 411. FisMaz from the 031. No hating sports and entertainment when we got it all and we're the only ones. And after all that action, never have a dripping high fashion. Drippy on some rich municipal stylists and soak up with passion. If it's giving us less, then we never settle. Make sure you pull up and bring all your medals. Sit back and relax, let's go. It's FisMaz bringing you the FisMaz show. It's the FisMaz show. It's the FisMaz show. It's the FisMaz show. It's the FisMaz show.
Yo, what up, what up, what up? This is the one, the only DJ Naves. Hope you're keeping up and keeping it well, man. You are currently locked into the one, the only Forex father, or as you know, with the FisMaz show. You know, shout out to my man Fiso doing big things right now. Forex father, take it home.
Hello everyone, welcome to the FisMaz show. I've been looking forward to chatting to today's guest for quite some time. He's been ducking and diving. He's a busy man, but I've managed to track him down. There he is. He is South Africa's boyfriend. He is Mr. Tugu. I don't know if he likes that term. Mr. Marisburg. He is, a fellow Fountains of Wisdom brother. I'll explain that a little bit later on in the show. But yeah, Lunga Shabalala, a good mate of mine. We've known each other since university days. And it's a friendship that has grown over time. But most importantly, he's a lover of sport as well. So not just a pretty face and a South African superstar. Lunga, how are you keeping, brother?
I'm good, man. How are you doing, Fiso? Yo, finally.
Okay,
So good to be here.
it's about time. It's about time because I know that innocent smile. It's not innocent to me because I know you. Hey, I'm busy. I'm picking up weight. I'm training. Hey man. You know, it's a hard price to always look the part, huh?
I'm a friend. I need to keep it up. Hey, it's how we got in here. It's been 10 years now in the industry. I've been blessed. But the one thing that you kind of figure out very quickly is that consistency is what keeps you here. And for a lot of people, I suppose, in any profession, that consistency in what you do and dedication to it is what keeps you relevant and ensures longevity.
No, absolutely. I mean, you touched on a really important point there. A lot of people love the sexy appeal of entertainment and being in a space of that nature. But the reality is, it's not straightforward. I mean, 10 years, time really does fly.
Yeah, man, it does. And to think back, even when you were coming into it, and I remember us having those conversations, I was like, just so you have it. I remember seeing your first insert, and I was like, no, there's something there. And here you are. Monday evenings, we're watching you cricket, we're watching you all over the place, we're watching you the FisMaz show, we're watching you. So definitely a lot of growth on your side as well. So yeah, I'm inspired by people like you as well, who kind of just come in, do their job, and flourish.
Hey, ngishaya ngegesa nje. Hayi, ngiyazizwa-ke manje, ngiyazizwa manje. But yeah, man, I mean, in terms of your career, I mean, it's really evolved quite a lot. Obviously started at Selima Tunzi.
Yeah.
That was a massive show for you. And then from there, it's just been developing. You were recently on The River. And let's touch on that because, I mean, that was a massive show and your growth was incredibly big.
Yeah. I have to say that I've been definitely blessed in my journey so far. I even got into this whole entertainment thing. This wasn't the plan from the get-go. It was a dream that I wanted to achieve. But a lot of us find ourselves in a position where we have to fight the parentals when it comes to entering entertainment because they'll always say to you that it's inconsistent. And yeah, I had to fight them on that. I had to enter a competition to become a TV presenter. Then I worked on that show for about 6 years. In the interim while doing that, I was also co-producing and presenting on another show called The Man Cave on SABC3, and I did all these different things in between. I've just been blessed to have had relations with a lot of people who are able to teach me and put me onto these different avenues and kind of have faith in my ability. And even with the River, I auditioned, and I can safely say that I was a raw actor walking into that space with Oscar winners in Presley, a talented actor in Mashidi and so forth, Isili Latu, who's now the producer as well on the show. So to be in that space and to be open to learning, and I think that's the biggest thing for a lot of us, is that you need to be open to learning, to take in information from other people who have been there before, who can kind of guide you and make your road a lot easier than it was for them. And yeah, from acting on that to the end of that character to starting something new, which will come to fruition and fade for a lot of the viewers. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the stuff I'm doing behind the scenes. COVID taught us a lot. It taught me that what I studied does come in handy now. So diving into the property game and investments and so forth. So I'm playing in that field while still doing this. And yeah, it's a good time. And of course, my billboards are all over the place. So if you walk into a mall, walk into Fabiani. Can I say that?
Go for it, brother. Go for it. We're here to gas you up too. And we're loving that, man.
Walk into Fabiani, buy the clothes, man. Buy the jewelry, buy the pieces. Buy the pieces, guys. Buy the pieces, please. Yeah, we're doing good. It's been a tricky 2020, but yeah, you never know how strong you are until being strong is the only option you have. And here we are.
I'd like to apologize to all your fans and to you for forgetting something very key at the top of the show. And that is, man, hey, bakuphoxa ubuhlungu lapha kwishow kodwa man. Yeah.
You know what the craziest thing is? Every time someone calls me by my character name, and I just happen to reply in English. I can see their eyes. They kind of do this thing, like there's a wire that's not connecting. Like, so you can actually speak the Queen's language. Like, yeah, we're acting, guys. we're acting. So yeah, man, it was such an amazing journey. It was such an amazing journey to play someone who's so pure. And there's a lot of lessons that I learned from that as well in terms of myself and vulnerability and the fact that, yeah, as Indota, especially as a Zulu man, you told that Indota and so forth. And this was a man who was a moral compass for that show, who was able to say that my guiding light is love. I'm in love with this woman and she is my everything. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And there's no gray lines when it comes to that. Especially in a show like that, where a lot of people are successful because of the activities that happen in the dark. Yeah, it was amazing. And to have now said goodbye to him in the manner that we did, I'm grateful to share the pictures for what they did in his encore, as we may call it. So the last storyline was just amazing to play, challenging, but very, very fun to play. And now I am starting a different journey, a different character, and it's exciting. And it's the weirdest thing that sometimes these things happen and they're an imitation of what's happening in the real world as well. The character that I'm playing, I've taken a lot of things from the challenge that everyone is doing right now, the Tutuzani challenge. The character that I'm playing, I've taken.
We haven't seen your Tutuzani challenge though. Come on. It's fine. I'll come back to that. We'll come back to that.
I don't have bodyguards. I'm not a bodyguard. So we can't have I'm not that rich. I'm fighting now.
No, carry on.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So you take away from people like that and you make them your own character. So I'm excited for people to see that in Feb. It's going to be fun.
Oh, absolutely. I think in Feb, once it's announced, it'll be nice to have you back on the show just to elaborate a little bit more on that and obviously your plans for 2021. And I think a lot of people would take a lot of learnings from you with regards to, I guess, your mentality. I know you love to live by the slogan or the hashtag Sir Awesome. And I think it's that kind of positivity is needed in everyday life. So again, from me as a mate and from the FisMaz show and the Lucky Boy Productions, we, I guess, salute you for all of the things that you've done that continue to help shape your future.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks.
All right. Well, let's touch on a bit of sport. People who don't know, Lunga was at Marisburg College, one of the elite boys' schools in the country, an unbelievable establishment. I can say that because my brother went there, and I know how special it is to him. And I guess there was a piece of me that really wanted to go there as well, and unfortunately, it didn't happen.
And you should have.
I was supposed to come. That's how my brother actually got in, through my connection, because they had tried to get me, but I felt it was just too late in my high school. I was in grade 11, I think, at that time. And I was one of those guys that kind of, I grew into being a good athlete as a young man, as opposed to having started in primary school, having been a star. So I just felt for me, there was just a lot more on offer. I was actually then, after I told the school that I had this offer on the table, I then basically got told I was going to be head boy. And I was like, I'm so happy. you know? Yeah, so, yeah, so I mean, for me, it's a really special place. But I think back to school days, I think that's where most of our love for sports really came about. And is it no different for you?
No, most definitely. I think my success just comes from what sports teaches you. I think back to where my life is now, and I look at my cousins who didn't do the things that I did in terms of having activity after school, and how that discipline or lack thereof kind of shifts your life and your mentality in terms of, you know, when you are in an environment where there is a camaraderie towards a certain goal. This is something that happens in every sphere of life. If you are able to work with people and have the same direction, this is what we want to do in the long term. It builds a discipline in you. It also kind of helps you to become accountable to other people. There is nothing worse than an athlete who can look back and have to regret a game that they played because they didn't give 100%, or maybe they didn't train off season. And these are things that you now carry on to your real world, where if a project doesn't work out, you can actually safely say, you know what, I didn't give my 100% share, and this didn't deserve to be a success. So I understand. So yeah, man, it's been the biggest part of my life. I was able to use sports as an avenue as well, just to help other people. While I was at Master College, we used to have this thing called the Interact Club. We worked with the Lighthouse Foundation, where we helped a lot of kids who were the heads of households because of the HIV/AIDS pandemic, I suppose, that we still have there at KwaZulu. And these kids needed a break. They needed to be kids and to be able to sit with someone like me, who at the time was probably like 16, and these kids were 10, 11, 12, 13. And they just wanted to play, and to feel like I don't have to deal with being a big brother who is AKA a dad at the same time. And yeah, man, I've been blessed. I've been blessed to use sports in many spheres. I've been blessed to be able to play a part in sports in just a presenting side and presenting so many awards. And to be part of the Sundowns family, we'll touch on that a bit later on, and to have that camaraderie, because, you know, it's the one thing Madisha says all the time that has a power to unify. And I see it in a lot of people, that even if there's a lot of differences, if we are wearing the same jersey, just for that moment, for those 90 minutes, 80 minutes, we all just cheering for the same team. And that's all you need sometimes, that icebreaker to kick off conversations into different things.
No, absolutely. And I think a lot of people can attest to that with regards to the icebreaker. And I mean, the one thing that's it threatens to be a breaker in our friendship is your allegiance with Arsenal. You know, it's okay. I know, hey, we're both going through things right now as a Manchester United fan. So I think maybe let's not go down that road. Instead,
I'm about to walk off.
Look, instead, you've shifted me in the direction I want to take. And you've touched on Mamelodi Sundowns, a team that is very close to your heart, a team that's going through a lot right now. I mean, in terms of results on the pitch over the past few years, the Pitso Mosimane era, you know, going back to Ted Dimitri era, Sundowns has been a really successful club over the last 20, 30 years or so. But more recently, there's been just this really unfortunate dark cloud hanging over the club with the passing of Anele Ngcongca, the former Genk, and Sundowns, the defender. And more recently, you know, Motjeka Madisha, who was a player who was really starting to come into his own. He was a guy that he looked the part. He was really starting to look the part, and extremely sad. I mean, how do you feel about the recent happenings and the unfortunate deaths?
This conversation just goes a lot deeper than just football. As a Sandawana, obviously, we've lost an amazing player, and I think you can see the faith that they had in him. The three head coaches, the three wise men that we have, in terms of how they were able to let go of an Aaron Spence. Say, you know what, we've got the next generation who can take over, who can lead us to the next chapter, and we obviously lost a very, very smart man in Vito Masamane, so that's a shift altogether. But I always try and move away from just seeing people as an athlete or an entertainer or so forth, and you kind of see the trend that is going on in terms of our personalities. Something, the way that they're passing isn't an anomaly. Truth be told, it isn't. It's happening for a lot of people, and you need to understand why it's happening, because we need to get to the source first before we can just kind of deal with the symptoms. And this comes down to I suppose the culture of not having, and shifting to a culture of have, and you find yourself in positions where you are enjoying your money and you are driving these fast cars and you are enjoying the fast life, as they call it. And something like this does happen. I can safely say that I've been lucky. I've been lucky in the fact that it didn't happen in that light, but I too went down the trend or that road where you enjoying the fame. Because truth be told, fame is so addictive. Fame is so addictive. Now you're 25 years old. You are a treble winner. You are a Bafana player now. And you're trying to enjoy life and it gets cut short. The thing is so fragile, but at the same time, yeah, man, it's what we have to deal with as South Africans. The numbers don't lie when it comes to accidents, especially at this time of the year. So yeah, it's painful. It's painful. I don't like to speak on things and say, "Well, see, this is just a Sundowns player," because the people who mentioned were barely just the people that they were for those 90 minutes. They were sons and they were brothers. They were whatever they were to their loved ones, and that's been taken away from them. So yeah, it's painful. It's painful, but there's also just a lesson for, I suppose, the whole league, for the whole country to understand. You would see, let's just be safe. We understand that you are young, but let's just be safe, because it's not just a South African thing. I think it's just a general thing of someone who comes from a space of not being known to being thrown in the spotlight. We can think of Jack Grealish, for example. He's gone through something similar with his driving issues. Harry Kane as well had his license suspended. So it's not just a South African thing. This is just young men who have now come to a lot of money. And you can't say to someone of that age, which is, don't buy a car. Why not? Why not? I make this money. This car was made to be bought. And if I have enough money to buy it, I can buy it. So it's not just a footballer thing. It happens to entertainers. It happens to business people who will get a guy who will get his PhD and go buy the fancy sports car. And sometimes when it's your time, it's your time.
No, absolutely. And one of the great points you made there. I mean, a lot of the times, athletes, I guess, are always perceived as superheroes, as people that are not from this planet. And you hit the nail on the head there with regards to the loved ones, because, we forget them. We think, oh, we've lost a great footballer, and we forget that, mom, is heartbroken. His girlfriend is heartbroken. His siblings, his friends. The human side, it's such an important part of understanding athletes and understanding society as a whole. And it's easy how it's easy, I guess we forget that quite easily.
Yeah, and it's I get the whole idea with just Africa, and maybe people will have different superstitions and so forth. There's a narrative that's going on right now saying that this is something that happened to Sundowns. No, it isn't. First and foremost, let's all be clear about that. This is not a Sundowns thing. It's a thing that is happening to a lot of people. The truth is that the people that we are hearing of, you hear of them because of the team that they play for. It happens to a lot of different teams in the country. It's happened to players. Who did it happen to? Manyama last year. He got into an accident. He just happened to survive. It happens to a lot of people. So it's not a team thing, first and foremost. It's not a soccer player thing, secondly. It is a people thing. And you must understand this. It's going to happen a lot to people of our age groups in the 20s, early 30s, because, well, insurance companies will tell you our behavior is reckless. Lungile, I get that part. But at the same time, we are also dealing with these individuals who come from a space where this was not available to me. This was not available to me. And for a lot of people, I don't understand how we can't grasp that. You would see, if you come from not being recognized, and you work your butt off to get to a level where you are a superstar and you are rewarded with such things. If you just happen to fall victim to your success, it happened to you because it was supposed to happen to you. You are not cursed. Sundowns is not cursed. Footballers are not stupid. Let's just be very clear about that. The narrative of saying with these young boys in their fast cars, guys, you can't do that. This is someone's son. This is someone's son, and it happened to them, and it's unfortunate. All we can do is we can pass our condolences to the Madisha family, and of course, hope that Anele's family is healing. It's been about 3 weeks now, 4 weeks, and it's going to take time to get past the fact that there's a soul missing in that home. But yeah, it is. Yeah, it's painful. It's painful. Like I said, it goes beyond football. We lost an amazing defender, a bright future for SA football, but more than anything, we lost a person. And I've always said, Umuntu is not the occupation. You are not your occupation. Your occupation is what you do. You are this individual who happens to touch souls of people in whatever purpose or role you are put into. And the Sundowns family lost a friend more than anything, not just a player.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it any better myself. I think from us here at the FisMaz show, and I think from, the South African community at large, I think everyone will have the Madisha and the Ngcongca family in their thoughts. May their souls rest in peace. And I just hope everyone can keep safe throughout this festive season. COVID-19 is around, and of course, we've seen over the years accidents on the road. They become very common during this time. So my thoughts go out to those two families and to anyone who's lost loved ones throughout 2020. I think just to wrap it up, I know with regards to your love for football, it goes beyond just being a fan. I know you're part of the Fountains of Wisdom. For those of you who don't know, just a small background, the Fountains of Wisdom is a group that myself and Lunga are part of. Great group of gentlemen who are young, aspiring to do a lot bigger and better things, and guys who push each other to be the best they can be. And we also happen to play football together. So as a group, we enjoy each other's company. And I know we had the Fountains of Wisdom Awards and end of year function recently. There was a lot of people there who are giving themselves awards. But I mean, just touching on that, I mean, the importance of brotherhood and the importance of that social life. How important is that for you?
Yeah, it goes back to what we were speaking on earlier on, the power of sports, and the fact that the Fountain of Wisdom is people from all spheres of life. We are talking about bankers. We are talking about media personalities, yourself, myself, Anele. We're talking about the DJs. We're talking about managers. We're talking about captains of industry. We've got people who work in the mining industry in the Fountain of Wisdom. But we are all brought together by this love for sports and the knowledge we have of sports. There's so much knowledge that goes into that thing. And yeah, man, it's needed. It's needed because it becomes, like I said, it becomes an avenue for different conversations. And there'll be moments we'll play our 2 hours of football, and then we'll sit down and have conversations. And how many people have just grown from those conversations? Even during COVID, we had our fitness challenges just to keep people fit, just to keep people alive. But sometimes you forget how much you need people. You just need people to feed your spirits. So we had those fitness challenges. We had conversations about how we can grow as individuals. Now we have an 11-a-side team with its own kits and its own sponsors. We have people talk about doing events and how we can kind of move from just being a football team to being a house of golf, a house of whatever else you're trying to reach into. It's just, I love it when Black men come together with the purpose of bettering each other. And this is the one thing that we all have in common. Everyone there is ambitious and everyone just wants to learn. So if you can learn from someone who's a senior, like a Lali or a Tumi, and you can also learn from a young man like a Temba, Temple Lunacy, who can be crazy at times, but you can see the ambition in his eyes that there's something there. So it's always nice to have those. And I think the biggest conversations we've had that I always think back on is the conversation of supporting and also just celebrating our players. We've seen what Leeds United did for Lucas Radebe. We saw what Genk did for Anele. And you ask yourself, what are we doing for our legends in this country? And it doesn't have to be a stadium, because I don't think any of our teams own stadiums, but it can be a branch, guys. It can be a branch. Maningama branch. Kaizer Chiefs has many branches. KwaZulu, Gauteng, Northern Cape. Can a branch not be named after a player? Why must it be a Soweto branch? Why can it not be Dr. Kumalo, Kaizer Chiefs branch? Because he's a legend. Like, shows something to say, we see who you are, and thank you. Thank you. Uskara Ngobese can't just be celebrated by Quarter Stars only, but it can't be a thing. It can't be a thing. So yeah, these are just the conversations we're having, and yeah, hopefully our grievances are heard by the right ears and something happens.
Yeah, look, I mean, you give me an idea here. You know, maybe at some point down the line we can have maybe a once a month Fountains of Wisdom episode. Once everyone is safe and ready to be able to come to the studio where obviously I operate from, I think that would be really cool. And then people can, you know, put, I guess, faces to the names of all these people we're mentioning here. I think that will be really special. But yeah, man, I don't want to keep you too long. I know you're quite a busy man. The last thing, before I let you go.
Yes.
1-0 to Burnley. Okay, I think that's my cue to leave. All right. I love you, brother. Stay out of trouble. It's time. Football will kill you a slow death.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to your listeners, to your viewers, and thank you once again for having me on the show. I look forward to coming back a happier man. It's a very, very long season, my friend.
Absolutely. I tweeted him.
Oh, one more time. One more thing. Welcome to Thursday Night Football. Welcome, Man United.
Sisonke. Amandla. Cheers, brother. And yeah, be safe over the festive season and all the best for 2021, my man.
All right, thank you. Appreciate this.
Cool.
Everything happens for the reason, first of all, and you know, you cannot run away in these challenges. You know, we have to face it, and if you are strong enough, you will be high, and you will be back again to normal.